Okay, this is the 5-minute practice video for lesson 3 in the beginner ukulele series. So in lesson 3, we learned the G7 chord, which is our first chord that we use 3 fingers to play. And then we practiced switching from chords that we previously learned, like C and F and A minor, switching from those chords that we already know to G7. So in this video, we're going to take all the chords that we've learned so far, and we're going to switch from that chord to G7, or from G7 to a different chord. Okay, so let's get right into it. So first, let's do C to G7. All right, so we get our playing position, and we can do it together. So we'll start on C, a 4 count of C, and then a 4 count of G7, and then sliding the finger back like that. So let's do it without strumming first. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3, slide C, 2, 3, slide G7, 2, 3, slide C, 2, 3, slide G7, 2, 3, slide C, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2. All right, now let's try with strumming. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, G7, back to C, G7, C, G7, C, G7, back to C. Okay, so now we're gonna do F to G7. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna do F, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G7, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G7 with my fingers like little hammers. F, 2, 3, 4, G7. Okay, so now we're going to do it with strumming. 1, 2, 3, 4, F, G7, F, G7, F, G7, F, G7. All right, great. So now we are going to do F, G7 to C. Okay, here we go. Find your F chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, F. Move the second finger down, G7. Slide to C. Find your F. F, G7, C. One more time. Find your F, F, G7, and C. Okay, so remember thinking about the reference fingers, like what, like for the F, you're moving this finger down, and then so that really helps with helping you to internalize where to put your fingers. Okay, so let's see, going from, let's see, C, okay, let's go from C, C7 to F. Okay, so we're going to do C, and then C7 is first finger, first fret, A string, and then F, we would move this finger, the first finger up to the, so you can think about that as your reference point, moving the We did in another lesson, we practiced going from C to C7, so it's just lifting the finger, and then to go from C7 to F, you're lifting the first finger to press it on the first fret of the E string, and then the second finger here, okay? So here we go. Let's say it without strumming first. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, C, 7, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's try playing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, C7, F. Find your C, C, C7, F. Okay, so we're past the 5-minute mark, so I'm going to stop right there. And I look forward to our next lesson where we are going to learn part of our first song.